Okay, let's try this one more time. Hey guys, this is Azaria, and we are going to be working in Maya 2018 this time, and we are going to explore the interface a bit, and we're going to talk about organic modeling and inorganic modeling, and what are the differences between the two. So I'm just waiting for my Maya to load. Also, I'm using a Mac, and this is under the assumption that you've watched the previous videos before. I think there's about 6 really short videos that are like a beginner base. So it's like a cool introduction to Maya and the user interface and how to get around and stuff. So when we talk about inorganic modeling, we are talking essentially about hard surfaces. So this would be your cell phones, your laptops. Wouldn't say cars per se. Cars are more, it's more of a biomorphic surface modeling. So we're just gonna mess around a bit in Maya, sort of create something, and let's see where the experiment sort of takes us. And also in creating this, I'm hoping to save you guys time and headaches, right, by attending some of the common problems you might run into. So also I'll be referring back to the previous videos that you guys did. Like if you want to bounce between your cameras, you press spacebar, hover your mouse to where you want your view or your selected view to be, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to duplicate this. So either going to go edit, duplicate, and then I have 2, and then I'm just going to hide this by pressing Control H. So Control H is hidden, and also you'll notice that your Maya tends to notify you about what you just did and the shortcuts. Also, if I hover my mouse over here, I'm going to have my wireframe on shaded. That way I can sort of see my edges, and I can go about now fiddling with this surface. So I'm just going to make this a bit thicker. I want to create one of those old school Game Boys. So I'm going to go to Edit Mesh. So in order to access this menu, I'm pressing and holding my spacebar, which pretty much has the menu items that you find up here. Okay, and the reason my interface might look different from yours is because I am currently in expert mode. This is because I just want to have more space, and also because I'm recording this video. So I'm going to go to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop, and then I'm just going to run it across like that. Also know that with your edges, once it's on, you can hit your move button, and the shortcut for move is W, and you can literally move your edges across the surface. To repeat this action, I'm going to press G, and I'm going to run it across as well. I want this to be fairly accurate, so I switch to my front view, and I'm just going to put it maybe around about here. So this is going to be sort of like a gaming device. I don't want to say Game Boy, but maybe something like a Game Boy. Also, please don't do what I do. Work from reference. It will save you guys a lot more time. So this is going to be my screen area. So just gonna push this. Also, if you want to have a selection that runs across your entire surface, you click on one edge. Either you double click on the one edge, then it runs across, or you click and then you move up, press shift, and then double click. Okay, so depending on what you're working on, you might want to try one or two of those approaches. So if I smooth this by hitting 3, you'll notice that I'm getting a more or less smooth surface, but it does look a bit weird. So I'm not going to do that just yet. So what I'm going to do now before smoothing is adding more subdivisions. And also remember, the more subdivisions that we have on our surface, the easier it is for us to manipulate the surface because we have more polygons to work with. But at the same time, we have to be careful with the amount of polys that we put in on our surface, because then the mesh becomes untidy and we have to do a cleanup at a later stage, which is not really a nice thing to do. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to further carry on adding my detail. So I'm going to insert my edge loops once again, just to solidify this top part, and then also maybe around here and around here. Also on the sides as well, I just want the beveled edges. So wouldn't say beveled, but more or less smooth. So if I hit 3, you will notice that there's quite a difference now with how this mesh is looking. So it's sort of getting there. So now I need to add a screen for this guy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select my parts, and then I'm going to extrude the surface. So once again, I'm just going to move my edge a little bit more, See what happens when I hit 3. Yeah, that will work. So now I'm going to go into face mode, and I'm going to select this face. Also make sure when you're selecting your faces, you aren't selecting faces at the back. So now that that is selected, I'm going to go to Mesh Tools, Edit Mesh, and I'm going to select Extrude. Now what Extrude does is that it creates an extension underneath the faces that you have chosen. So depending on whether you want to extrude outwards or inwards, your results are going to be quite different. So in my case, when you hit this little gizmo, it pretty much centers your pivot. I'm going to scale it just a little bit, and then hit G to repeat the same action, and then I'm going to push that in. So what we've done now is that we have created sort of like an indent for our screen. And if I hit 3, let me switch this off, you notice that now we have sort of like a screen area. If you want to, you can have this, you can have these edges tightened up, which is what I'm going to do, or you can have them smooth, depending on how you want to approach your surface. So I'm just going to fix up the screen, and then I'm going to work on the corner a bit, and then I'm going to end this video because I'm still recording this on the Mac. I still want to like convert the videos and make these lessons as concise as possible. So to wrap it up, I'm going to go to Mesh Tools, insert edge loop, and then slide an edge loop in here and one in here. So now when I hit 3, I have a much more tighter, sleeker edge on the inside, and this will become my screen area. So now what I want to do is to stylize the corner a little bit. So I'm just going to go to my front view and go into vertex mode. In vertex mode, I'm just going to select these two edges. And I'm going to pull one up like so, and then pull these last verts up like so. So now when I hit 3, I sort of have this little corner going inwards. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is insert an edge loop. There we go. So we sort of have a base now for our Game Boy gamer play thingy. On the next video, I'm going to show you how you can manipulate the surface to add buttons and have sort of creases that are running across.